Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson we're going to be learning La Gitanita, which is Spanish for gypsy girl. Now this song was actually composed in 1989 by Jörg Hochweber, and he wrote it in the style of traditional flamenco. And I think the coolest thing about it, besides being it's so much fun to play, it's an absolute blast to play. But besides that, the coolest thing is that it uses two techniques that are used in flamenco style playing. And those two techniques are picado and rasgueado. Now, picado is a finger picking method in which we are going to be picking with the index finger and the middle finger in an alternate fashion. And rasgueado is a strum technique in which we are executing one finger at a time in rapid succession to create this big, bright, full sounding, really accented strum. Really, really cool technique. So we're going to break down both of those techniques in just a second, and I'm going to teach you how to do them. But before we get there, I want to point out that in this lesson, we are going to be learning the entire song. So if you want to get the tabs to print out and follow along with, that's going to be 100% for free at rockclass101.com. So you can click this link right here, or you can go to the site and do a search for La Gitanita. And you will need to be a basic member. So you sign up for basic membership, it's 100% free, and that'll allow you to download that tablature. And hey, if you're new to the site, feel free to take a look around. We have almost 250 ukulele lessons up. And last but not least, if you are a premium member, you're also going to get access to the on-screen tab viewer. Now, this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, you can watch the tab scroll across in real time, you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning a tune like this that much easier. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into talking about those two techniques. Let's start with picado. Picado is a finger picking technique where we alternate between using the middle finger and the index for all of our picking. Now, generally you want to go in this order. You want to go middle and then index and keep going, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index. So go ahead and give it a shot. Just take the first string open and we're going to just go middle, index, just alternating, only on string 1. Now, one thing I want to point out is that, take a look at my right hand. You can see that I'm using what is in classical guitar terminology deemed free stroke. You can see that I'm just floating above the strings, and this is normally how you guys finger pick. This is how I finger pick. This is how the majority of people finger pick, is in free stroke. Now, on the contrast, flamenco usually uses rest stroke. So for this, we can take our thumb, we can rest it on the 4th string. It's kind of just staying anchored on the 4th string. And if I take that middle finger, if I put it on the 1st string right here, I'm going to play through the string and my finger is going to end up on the 2nd string. So you can see how it played through and it landed on the adjacent string. And the same concept would continue as I alternate going to the 1st finger. And I could just keep going. You can hear that that string really pops, right? It has a really big, bright, full tone to it, versus rest stroke has a softer, subtle tone. So flamenco uses the rest stroke because it makes melodic passages pop, and there really is no comparison. If you want to make the melody really stand out, rest stroke is the way to go. Rest stroke takes some time to get down. So I'll give you an exercise if you want to practice rest stroke, because the idea behind this is to continue alternating 2-1, 2-1. So far we've only done the 1st string, which is pretty easy, but you want to continue alternating even when you incorporate string skipping. So if we were going from string 1 to string 2, so for example, if we were to go string 1, 1, and then string 2, if we repeat that pattern, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, every time we go to string 2, you would be using a different finger, and it gets really tricky. So for example, you can see if I go, let me call out fingers, right? 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then the pattern would repeat, right? So that's what makes it really hard, but then you've got to incorporate the rest stroke as well into that. So you can practice that. It's a bit of a finger frenzy, but it's going to be a really great exercise. So backtracking just a sec, start with just the first string and then try that first string to second string pattern, and that'll be a great practice. Now, if you had a keen eye and you watched my performance, you can see that I played the entire piece with free stroke. So for me, I'm kind of a jack of all trades. You know, I'm not trying to be a flamenco player. I just enjoy playing the style. So to me, it wasn't super important that I nail rest stroke. You know, I'm more comfortable with free stroke. So if you want to play this entire piece with free stroke, I did, and there's really nothing wrong with doing that. I just want to point out the correct method if you do want to lean more towards playing the traditional way. Now, the other technique is rasgueado, and this technique is a strum technique in which we are going to be executing one finger at a time in rapid succession to create a really, really bright, accented, full sounding strum. Super duper cool sounding. And you can hear even on the muted strings that it just sounds really neat instead of just a regular strum. So for this one, what you can do is you can actually practice with those muted strums first. And what you want to do is you want to get each finger going independent. So you just want to practice really slow. You want to go pinky, ring, middle, index. So you just want to get used to kind of flicking, basically. We're flicking each finger independent. So ba, 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 right? 4, 3, 2, 1. So you just want to get used to getting each finger to flick independent, because so far, if all you've done so far is regular strumming, then everything has moved in unison. Your fingers have all moved together. So we're kind of breaking that habit and we're getting everything to go individual. So start really slow. That's the key with this one, is you want to start really slow and you just want to do one at a time. So from there you can gradually start to speed it up a little bit, and then you can throw in some chords too to practice, so not only just these muted strums. So if I add a D minor, and I can go really slow for the beginning, and I can just still practice at a slower but a little bit quicker tempo just to get used to it before I really jump into trying to play really fast. So speed comes in time, so try to get that movement. It's kind of like a little flick. That's what you want to think of. Flick, 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 but as quick as you can do. And you can practice this actually even when you're not playing. So, you know, when you're just out and about throughout the day, you can just practice like on your chest, like literally. People might look at you weird, but it'll be a way to practice to kind of get that finger movement going and to build hand strength. So let's go ahead and talk about this tune. So I've gone ahead and split this song into 3 parts. So we have melody A, B, and C. Each melody is 8 bars in length. That gives us a total length for the song of 24 bars. So let me play a little bit of melody A, and then we're going to break it down and learn it. And I'm going to be counting out this lesson, the rhythms throughout this lesson. So if you're new to understanding rhythmic notation, then check out this lesson really quick before you move on. It's going to help you out tremendously. And with that said, the rhythms of this tune, they're really simple. They're predominantly all 8th notes and quarter notes. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Here's the first couple bars of melody A. Okay, so let's break that one down. So there actually is a pickup bar that begins. So I didn't mention that. So we do have 3 notes in our pickup bar. So it starts on the end of 3. So let's learn that. So we're going to be playing on string 1. Remember, we have the alternate finger picking pattern or finger picking approach, right? So middle, index, middle, index, middle, index. So we want to keep that intact for our beginning. So we're going to go open A to the 3rd fret and then to the 1st fret. So everything is on this first string. So we have 0, 3, 1. Okay, so that's going to start on the end of 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, let's try that together really slow. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Awesome. So after this, we're into the first bar. Now bar 1 is going to be the rhythm of 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So the first hit is a quarter, the rest are eighth notes. It sounds like this. Okay, so let's break that one down. So we're going to start with the open A, and then we're going to make a D minor chord. Now our D minor is a variation on the pretty much the basic D minor you learn in the beginning of uke playing. So instead of using 3 fingers, we're only going to use 2. So take that middle finger, put it on the 2nd fret of string 3, and your index finger on the 1st fret of string 2. So we have 2, 1, open A. So we're playing from the 3rd string down, so we're ignoring string number 4. It's going to make all this movement and playing a lot easier if we just use 2 fingers and we tackle the 3rd string down. So with that said, you want to approach the rasgueado strum with targeting 3rd string down. So try not to hit that open G. So you want to target 3rd down. Okay? Now after that strum, you're going to use the nail of your thumb to come up and hit the 1st string. So after I do the strum, I come up with the nail of the thumb and I hit the 1st string, and then I'm going to come down, I'm going to strum again, but this time I'm going to strum as a regular strum. So I'm just going to come down. You probably use these 2 nails of my 2nd and 3rd finger to do just a regular strum. So on beat 2, you have rasgueado strum coming up with the nail of the thumb and then coming down on beat 3 with a regular strum. So it's 2 and 3. Okay, remember that first hit, that open A, is a quarter note. So you have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so open A, rasgueado strum, 3rd string down, coming up with the nail of the thumb, hitting the open A, going down with a regular strum. Okay, so let's see if we can try that together. We'll start on beat 1. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, now after that, you're going to play the same 3 notes that were in our pickup measure. So it was open A, 3rd fret of string 1, then 1st fret. Okay, now we also want to keep in mind the 2, 1, 2 finger picking approach. So we have, right? So you want to keep that intact, 2nd, 1st, 2nd. So we have picado going, right? So if we put that bar together, we have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, let's try together really slow, and I'll call it out. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's try one more time, a little bit faster. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Awesome. So that gives us the first bar. Now the big takeaway from this is that when you have the rasgueado strum on beat 2 and the coming up with the nail and then a regular strum after, that continues throughout pretty much the entire tune up until we get to the C melody where we're using basic strumming. So you want to keep that in mind. That's really the takeaway. So you probably want to just hit pause right now and you can just practice that. You can practice rasgueado strum down, coming up with the thumb and the nail, and then coming down with a regular strum. So rasgueado, nail of the thumb coming up, regular strum coming down. So you just want to practice that. If you can get that down, then each time it pops up throughout the rest of this tune, you got it good. So if I play the second bar, the thing that you're going to notice now is that it's identical to bar 1. So literally we're just going to play everything we did for bar 1 twice, and that'll give us bar 1 and 2. So bar 2 again is identical to bar 1. So let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can play the first 2 bars plus the pickup measure. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 So let's take a look at our third bar. And our third bar is all single notes. So it sounds like this. Okay, so we're going to keep up with that alternate finger picking. So we have 1, 2, and 3 4 and. So beat 1 and 3 is quarters. The beat 2 and 4 and is eighth notes. So we're going to start with the open A, and then go to the 3rd fret of string 2, play that note, and then the 1st fret of string 2. That gives us the first half of this bar. So we have O, 3, 1. Okay? And then it's actually just going to double. So you're going to play the same thing for the second half of this bar. So O, 3, 1. So if we put that entire bar together, we have O, 3, 1, O, 3, 1. So if I call out that rhythm, I have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay? Now, you'll probably notice too that I've not been super great at keeping my alternate finger picking going consistent. And again, like I said, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, so, it's okay to not do it, everything second one, second one, second one, second one. Sometimes you may want to slip another finger in, and when we start playing on the 3rd string and the 4th string, I actually use my thumb. So I don't even do the picado. So don't beat yourself up too much if you're going like 2, 2, 1 instead of 2, 1, 2. So I just want to point that out, that it's totally fine, and I switch things up too. All right, so let's try this bar again. So we have together really slow. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Pretty simple bar. Let's look at the next one, and it sounds like this. So you can tell it's basically the same thing as bar 1 and 2. This time around, we're literally just shifting everything up, directly up one string. So instead of D minor, you're just going to take that D minor shape, move it up one string, and hey, it becomes A major. So you have second finger on the 2nd fret of string 4, index on the 1st fret of string 3. The 2 strings underneath are open, so this time we're going to be strumming all 4 strings. Now we're going to kick this one off with playing the 2nd string open. Remember, that's going to last a quarter. So we have 1, and then we have rasgueado strum, followed by the open A with the thumb, and then a down strum, a basic down strum. So remember how I said, if you get that rasgueado, thumb, nail, strum, get that down, you'll see it throughout all of this tune. Okay, so if we try this first part, we have again open E, then rasgueado strum, followed by nail of the thumb coming up on the open A, and a down strum, regular down strum. Following that up, we have open E, then the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Okay? So literally, we took everything that we played and we just moved everything up one string. So it's the same thing, just moved up one. So let's see if we can try that bar. Again, we have open E, rasgueado strum, come up with the thumb, regular strum, open E, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 1st fret. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so now let's see if we can go bar 3 and 4. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Awesome. Now, one thing I do want to point out too is this song really comes down to how you're playing it. The dynamics of how you're approaching playing it is really important. You can hear in that last one that I put more emphasis into my strum. So what I did was that last strum, that basic strum, you can hit with a little bit more pump. So you can kind of mute it too. You can kind of use the left hand to mute those strings. Ba, strum, one, strum, mute, ba, da, da. But of course, catch the timing a little bit better. So you can hear that accent. And that really kind of helps to give it more of a punch in this tune. And I'm really kind of trying to stay on the beat. So I want to be really precise with my tempo. I want to be on the beat. I don't want to be behind. I don't want to be in front. I just want to be directly on the beat. It's almost kind of like a march. It's like directly on the beat. So that's the two approaches that I used for playing it. So let's see if we can go backtrack, and let's see if we can go bar 1 through 4 plus the pickup. We'll try a little bit of faster tempo. If you want to practice a bit slower, of course, you can use that little YouTube. You click that little cog there, and I'll put the image up that shows you how to do it, but you can slow it to 75, 50% speed, even 25% speed. And let's go ahead and try it. Here we go, 1 through 4 plus the pickup. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... Awesome. Now let's take a look at bar 5. So bar 5 is doing the same thing as bar 2 did for 1. It's the same as 4. So bar 5 is identical to bar 4. So you're doing the same thing. Open E, strum the A with the rasgueado, come up with the open A, regular strum, and then O, 3, 1 on the E string. So again, let's give that a shot. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay. Now bar 6 is going to start the same, but the last 3 notes are different. So you're starting the same. You have open E, strum with rasgueado, A, open A, regular strum, and then you're going to be playing these 3 notes that are different. The first fret of string 3, the second fret of string 3, and then the open E. So you have 1, 2, oh. So remember a second ago I said when I start playing things on the 3rd and the 4th string, I'm using my thumb. So I'm breaking away from picado, and it's just easier for me to do what's more natural, which is just, you know, regular finger picking approach. So I'm going to use my thumb for string 4 and 3. So let's see if we can try that bar. Not too hard. Remember the first half is the same. So here we go. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... Awesome. Now let's backtrack. Let's try 5 and 6 together. So here we go. 5 and 6. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so now for bar 7, we have a bit of a tricky rhythm. So I'm going to put the rhythm right up here, but you can see on that second hit, it's going to linger. So it's going to last for a dotted quarter. So if I count it out, the hits are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that second hit, that hits on the end of 1, 1 and, that's going to get tied into beat 2. And then your next hit will be on beat 3. So you just want to hold it out. So if I play this bar and count it, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So you can hear that second note just last longer. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Then our next hit will be on beat 3. It's a pretty simple bar, but you gotta watch out for that rhythm. So let's break it down. We start on the first fret of string 2, and then play the open string 2. That gets held out. And then we're going to play the open A. Back to the string 2, we're going to play 3, 1, 0. So if we put it together, we have 1, O, that gets held, then to string 1 open, back to string 2, 3, 1, 0. So if we add the timing, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... This whole time, we've got the little picado keeping our first and second finger moving. So let's you and I try. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Nice. Now for bar 8, we're back to D minor, and it's pretty much the same as bar 1, except for the first note. The first note's going to be the 2nd fret of string 3. But the rhythm and everything else after that is identical to bar 1 and bar 2. So it sounds like this. Okay, if we break it down, remember it's the same rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... So you're going to start with that middle finger on the 2nd fret of string 3, and we're going to play that note. That's going to be a quarter note, so we have 1, and then we've got the rasgueado, followed by the thumb coming up with the nail, and then a regular strum, and then the same little melody line at the end, which is 0, 3, 1 on the A string. So together you have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So let's try it together in the timing. We have 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Awesome. Now let's try 7 and 8 together. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Nice. Now let's backtrack. Let's do the second half of melody A, 5 through 8. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alright, so now let's try 1 through 8 with that pickup. And let's bump up that tempo a little bit so we can get more of the feel in there and we can get some more of that rasgueado with the quicker hits. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's go ahead and take a look at melody B. You can think of melody B as a variation on melody A. So we're still playing out a D minor and A, but sometimes we're going to throw a different chord in there, and then we have different melody notes that we're going to be playing out of. So just think of it as a variation, really cool variation. Let me go ahead and play the first bar, and then we'll break it down and learn it. So here's what it sounds like. So first thing we hear, same rhythm. We have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So same rhythm going on, where it's quarter followed by eighths. So we're playing out a D minor again. We're going to play the first string open, then we have the rasgueado strum, followed by the open A and a regular strum, and then we're going up to 5 on the first string. So we're going to play 5, 5, and then 3. So we have double 5, and then to 3. I like to use that ring finger for that 5th fret. So again, we have open A for a quarter, 1, 2, and 3. Right? So remember, same pattern that we talked about a lot, and then we're on 5, 5, 3 on the A string. So let's see if we can try it together. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now the second bar is going to be a little bit different rhythm, and it's going to sound like this. So if I count it out, I have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, so we're starting with the open A again. It's going to last a quarter. 1, and then we're going to do the rasgueado strum on 2, and come up again on the end of 2 with the thumb, and then for beat 3, we're strumming D minor. We're going to hold it this time for a quarter note. So far we have 1, 2, and 3. So for beat 4, you're gonna rest, and the end of 4, you're gonna play the open A. So a little tricky, but it sounds like 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, so let me count all eighths. I have 1, and 2, and 3, and rest, and. Okay, so you have a hit on 1, hit on 2 end, hit on 3, rest on 4, and a hit on end of 4. Okay, so again, we have open A, rasgueado, come up, and with the thumb, hit the open, then come down and strum, rest for 4, and hit on the end. Let's give it a shot. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Cool, now let's backtrack. Let's try 1 and 2 together. 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. You see, even there, I cut out a little bit too. The main thing is that I know where I'm at throughout the bars. So let's take a look at the next one. So this is going to be bar 3. Bar 3 is going to be a walk down all on the first string. So it sounds like this. And it's all eighth notes. So this one's a good one to memorize the frets that you're playing. So I'm playing 5, 6, 5, 3. There's the first half. So let's break that down. I like to start with the index finger. So we're going to use the index finger for 5, then use the middle for 6, and then back to the index for 5, and down a whole step to 3. So I have 5, 6, 5, 3. Okay, let's try that. Remember, eighth notes. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and. Awesome. Now the second half is going to be 1, 3, 1, open. Okay, let's give that a shot. And I'm just using first and third. So here we go. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Nice. So if we put it together, we have 5, 6, 5, down a whole step to 3, down another whole step to 1, 3, 1, open. So you have some movement with that index finger. So watch out for that. So here we go. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Nice. Now after that, you're into bar 4. In bar 4, we have a different chord. We have G minor. So this is just our stock G minor. So you're going to use your middle finger for the 2nd fret of string 3, ring finger for the 3rd fret of string 2, and your index finger for the 1st fret of string 1. And the G string will be open. So this one, we have pretty much the same rhythm as bar 2, except for beat 4, we're just going to rest the entire quarter note. So it sounds like this. So if I count it out, I have 1, 2, and 3, rest. So very simple. So make that G minor. We're going to hit string 2 by itself. Then we have rasgueado, come up with a thumb, hit string 1, and then strum for beat 3, and rest on 4. So I have 1, 2, and 3, rest. Okay, let's try together. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and rest, and. Awesome. Now let's backtrack. Let's do 3 and 4. Here we go. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, rest. Nice. Now let's tackle 1 through 4. Here we go. 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, rest. Nice. So now we're into bar 5, and bar 5 and 6 are both single notes that we're picking. So we've got picado going on, and like I've mentioned before, I actually break the picado and I like to use other fingers. So I'm going to call it the way that I like to play it, and feel free to use my way or stick with picado or alter it to make it fit your playing style. Here's what bar 5 sounds like. Okay, so I'm going 3, 2, 3, oh. That's the first half. So it's gonna start on the second string. So we have 3, 2, 3. It's all eighth notes. And then we have the open A. That's gonna finish up that first half. So 3, 2, 3 on string E, and then the open A. Now when we get to the open A, I like to use the ring finger. So I'm starting out with picado. I have second, first, second, but then when I play the open A, I like to use the ring finger, because when I get to the next part, it makes it really easy for me to continue with picado. So it simplifies it and it fits more of my playing style. So again, I like to go 2, 1, 2, 3, and then I go back to picado, 2, 1, 2. So the first half, we had 3, 2, 3 on the E string, then the open A. Now for the second half, we're going to play the first fret of string 1, the open string 1, and back to the third fret of string 2. That last hit is going to last a quarter note. So you have 3 and 4. Okay, so if we tie that entire bar together, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let's give it a shot, you and I. Slowly. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Nice. Now the second bar, or I guess it's really the sixth bar, this continues with that single note picking, and again I'm kind of altering the picado. Let me play this sixth bar and then we'll break it down. So same rhythm, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, so quarter note at the end. So again, I like to break out of the picado and I like to use that ring finger for the first string. So I can stay with this 2, 1, 2, 1. I can stay with picado for the first part, and then when I get to string 1, I like to use the ring and then go back to second, first picado. So that's how I like to approach it. So let's break this one down. We're playing pretty much all on string 2. So we're gonna go 1, 0, 1, 3. So there's the first half. Let's give it a shot. 3 and 4 and 1, 0, 1, 3. Okay, now the next one, this is where I break out. You're gonna hit the A string open. I like to use the ring. And then we're going back to the second string. We're gonna play 3 and then 1. Remember that last one lasts a quarter note. So the second half is 0, 3, 1. Let's give it a shot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, if we put it together, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Nice. Now let's backtrack. Let's try those two single note lines together. So that's 5 and 6. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Very good. So the next part, we're into the home stretch for this melody B. So bar 7 continues with the single note, although at the end we have a 16th note hit. So a little syncopation, a little bit tricky, but let me play it and then we'll break it down and learn it. Here's what it sounds like. If I count out the rhythm, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Okay, so we have a 16th note hit at the end. We'll get there in a sec. But again, I like to use that thumb when it gets to string 3 and 4, and I'm literally just going down plucks for all of this. So just when you're playing string 3 or 4, down, 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 downs. So that's what makes it easy for me. So we're starting out with the open E, and then we go to the 2nd fret of string 3, to the 1st fret, and then the 3rd fret of string 4. There's our first half. We have 1 and 2 and cool little walk down. So again, open E, 2nd fret of string 3, 1st fret, 3rd fret of string 4. Okay, let's try it. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. And one thing I want to point out too is that a lot of this stuff that you've seen me play, especially these last 2 bars, look at my left hand while I play these last 2 bars. This was bar 6 and 7. You can see that each finger gets its own fret. We call that playing in a position. I like to call it playing in a box, but each finger gets its own fret across all 4 strings. That means that when you're playing, your playing is really efficient. I see a lot of people use different fingers over here and over here, and they may do something like why play that? That's such an awkward stretch, right? You should use the 1st and the 3rd finger. Makes it much more efficient. So if you've never played in position or a box before, give it a shot. It's going to be a really, really useful tool, especially when you play harder things like this. Now the second half starts on beat 3, and it's the 2nd fret of string 4, and then the open G. That open G is on the end of 3, and that's what's going to get tied into beat 4. So you have 3 and 4, and then here we have our 16th note. So if we subdivide beat 4 into 16th notes, we have 4 E and A. So we're going to be hitting on and A. So we're hitting on the tail end of it, the second half of beat 4. So if I count out this second half of this bar, I have 3 and 4 E and A. That's the trick right there. So we have 3 and 4 and A. So we're holding out the end of 3, this open G, into beat 4, the first half of beat 4, and then the second half of beat 4 we have 16th note pull off, 1 to 0. Okay, so that's just your index finger on the 1st fret of string 2, pulling off to the open E. So let's tackle that second half again. We have 2, 0 on string 4, hold it out, and then 1 to 0 on string 2. So let's try. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and It's a little tricky there. That's why that notation lesson I linked earlier is really, really valuable and helpful for this part. Let's tackle the 7th bar. We have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Nice. Now the 8th bar, pretty simple. So it sounds like this. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. So we have a tap at the end. So to do this tap, we're going to use the thumb, this hard part of our thumb right here, the joint, and we're going to tap about right here. So if you look at this sound hole, you go right in the middle of the sound hole, go up and to the left a little bit. That's a good spot to do this tap. So just going to be a tap on beat 4. So if I count out the rhythm of this 8th bar, I have 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, so let's break that down, but it should be familiar because it's the same rhythms that we saw in bar 2 and 4 for melody B. So make the D minor chord, and we're going to play string 3, then a Rasgueado strum, come up with the thumb, strum down, and then tap. Okay, so you have 1, 2, and 3, tap. Together, here we go, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, tap. Nice. Now backtrack, let's try 7 and 8. So here we go, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. Nice. Now 5 through 8. Here we go. Starting on the single note picking. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 Nice. Now let's go 1 through 8. So everything from melody B. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and a 1 and 2 and 3. Tap. Nice. So that gives us everything for melody B, guys. So let's take a look at melody C. Now, melody C is a different melody. So remember, A and B were pretty much the same, but B is like a bit of a variation. Melody C is different, where we have more regular strumming than rasgueado strumming. So we're going to talk about that, but keep that in mind. We have a different vibe, different kind of feel for this melody coming up. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So here are the first couple bars from melody C. Okay, if I count out that rhythm, I have 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3, tap. Okay, so if we break this down, like I said a second ago, we're going from C to F. So the first bar is all on C, so it's just that stock basic C chord with the ring on the first string, 3rd fret. And then for the second bar, stock basic F, so middle on the 2nd fret of string 4, index on the 1st fret string 2. So let's take the first bar. So we're going to play string 2 and then string 1. And then we're going to do regular strumming throughout this first part. So we just have down, and I like to come up and use the nail of my thumb to hit the first string, and then I come down and do regular strum. So I have 1 and 2 and 3. Okay? Then for beat 4, I'm going to tap. So I have 1 and 2 and 3, tap. Okay, so let's try that again. So string 2, string 1, then strum up with the nail of the thumb on string 1, strum, hold for a quarter, tap on beat 4. So rhythming, rah. So rhythmic wise, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Let's see you and I try. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. Okay, so we're actually going to do the same thing on the second bar. So when you go to F, you're doing the same thing. You're playing string 2, string 1, strum, come up with the nail of the thumb, and then strum again, hold for a quarter, tap. So same right hand pattern, same rhythm, just a different chord. So let's try this bar together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. Nice. Now let's see if we can do 1 and 2 together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. F. 1 and 2 and 3, tap. Okay, and you saw that time I was coming up instead of the nail of the thumb using the ring. So again, you can break things down and play it the way that you like to play. So whatever is more comfortable. So you don't always have to copy the ways that I do it. So now when we get to bar 3 and 4, that's going to be considered ending 1. So once we play bar 3 and 4, you're going to revert back and play bar 1 and 2 again, and then you're going to jump into ending 2. So let's cover bar 3 and 4 first. So here's what bar 3 sounds like. And it's a single note pattern that is all eighth notes. So it sounds like this. Okay, so a nice little eighth note run. Da 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 bum ba dum ba da. So we're going to start on the second string. So we'll play the open E, then we're going to do a pull off 1 to 0. So we can use the index finger, and remember not to rush these because we want to keep the notes even, so all eighth notes. So each note lasts the same length of time. So O, 1, O, so O, pull off. Then take that middle, put on the 2nd fret of string 3, And that'll give us this first half. So we have O1, O2. Okay, now our second half, we're going to keep this middle finger anchored there. We're going to play string 2 open, back to the second fret of string 3, and then we're going to go 3 to 1 on string 2. So it's a pull off. So you have 3 and 4 and... Okay, so again, that second half is O, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so if we put that bar together, we have O, 1, O, 2, O, 2, pull off. Okay, so not too hard. Let's see if you and I can do it in time. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and pull off. Nice. Now bar 4, we're back into the rasgueado. So we have playing out of A. And this one is the same rhythms that we saw in melody B. So it's 1, 2, and 3, tap. So we're going to be playing open E, doing rasgueado, coming up with the nail of the thumb, and then a regular strum for beat 3, and then beat 4 we're going to tap. So we have 1, 2, and 3, tap. So let's see if you and I can try that. 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, tap. Nice. So if we try 3 and 4 together, we have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. Cool. Now let's see if we can backtrack. Let's see if we can go 1 through 4. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, tap. Awesome. So now, when you get through that, you're done with bars 1 through 4, right? So you're going back, you're going to play the first 2 bars again. C to F. So now that would be considered 5 and 6. So now you're into alternate ending number 2. So this is bars 7 and 8. So here's what 7 sounds like. And you can hear it's literally a variation on bar 5. So it sounds like this. So same kind of single note picking patterns, but this time we're going our way up in pitch. So starts the same. We have O1, O2. So open E, then first to open, pull off, then the second fret of string 3. So all that's the same. So the first half is the same. O1, O2. So the variation falls in the second half. You got 2 pull-offs, 3 to 1 on string 2, and 3 to 1 on string 1. Remember, don't rush it. We want to keep it as 8th notes. So let's see if we can try that bar together. We have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay? So not too hard. One more time, a little bit faster. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Nice. Now, here's the last bar, and it's got a little new technique that we're going to talk about, a tapped harmonic. But here's what it sounds like, then we'll break it down. Okay, our rhythm is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So we have quarters for the first half, 1/8 for the second half. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So we're going to start with the open A. We're playing all out of the A chord. We've got rasgueado strum on beat 2. So you have 1 rasgueado strum on beat 2. Then on beat 3, we're going to do this really cool tap harmonic. So most of the time when you guys are playing harmonics, you're playing them like that, where it's over the 12th fret, playing like an open harmonic. So you're over the second metal bar of the 12th fret. So you look at the 12th fret, you have first metal bar and second metal bar. If I put my middle finger directly on top of that second metal bar over the 12th fret, and I pluck and then I lift up, I get that cool little harmonic. So we're doing the same thing. So you probably have already done that kind of harmonic, these natural harmonics. We're kind of going to do the same thing, and it's like an artificial harmonic. So what you can do is you can just practice. You can take that index finger, you can tap exactly where you would pluck that 12th fret, and as you heard, you get that cool little harmonic. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just basically keep that A shape intact, and then you just want to tap that bottom half right there over string 2 and 1. And that will give you that really cool harmonic to accent it. So it's just a little flashy thing to finish up strong. So you have 1 rasgueado, then little tapped harmonic, which I missed. There it is. And that's really quick because after that you got to go 0, 3, 1. So you got to jump right back into playing 0, 3, 1. So that's all on string 1. So if I put that rhythm together, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so you can hear how quick, ba, and then back into playing 0, 3, 1. So you just want to loop that section. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, so let's try 7 and 8 together. Let's see if we can do this. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Awesome. Now if we backtrack, we can try 5 through 8 and then 1 through 8. Remember 5 through 8, 5 and 6 is the same as 1 and 2. Here we go. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Awesome. Now let's try all of melody C together. So here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3, tap. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Awesome. So now when you get melody C down, you're jumping back. You've got DSL coda goes back to the sign. That's at the first bar, so not the pickup bar, but the first bar. So you see in melody A on the tab, you see the little coda sign. If you're new to these directions for chart symbols and stuff, then I'll put a link in the description box below, kind of going really in detail how this works. But you're jumping back to melody A, you're going to play that, and then you're going to follow up and you're going to play melody B all the way until you get to bar 15. So you see on bar 15, at the end of 15, you have Dakota. That means that you're going to jump to the coda sign, and that's the very last bar on page 2. And that will be our ending, and our ending sounds like this, just one bar. So cool little way, and we're going to sustain on a higher voicing of D minor to end this. So you can see this 16th bar for the B melody is going to be, or actually the 8th bar of the B melody is going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4. So it stays out of that stock D minor for the first part. So string 3, rasgueado, come up with the thumb, the nail, strum again, beat 3, and then beat 4, we're jumping to a higher D minor. So just the index laying flat on the 5th fret, strings 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you have 1, 2, and 3, 4. You can hold that out. So let's give that a shot. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. And I like to pluck that chord at the end. I think it sounds better than a strum. And you just sustain until it fades. And that's it, guys. So that is the entire tune. So we had 3 melodies, each were 8 bars in length, and then we had repetition where we're going back. So it's really melody A, melody B, melody C, melody A, melody B, with the last little alternate ending bar that we just covered. And that's it. So guys, this one was a lot of fun. Really cool technique with the rasgueado and the picado. So really cool stuff to take away from this lesson, especially if you want to break away. One of the best things about music and a way to keep things fresh is to try different genres, different styles of playing. I actually, years ago, like 2005 or something, I had bought the Crossroads DVD by Eric Clapton, and I watched him. It's like a festival, it's like a guitar festival, and he invited all these different acts, and they're all different styles of playing, and he went up and he sat in and jammed with all these different genres, and he could hang with anybody. And I was like, ever since that day, I was like, I have to challenge myself and play different styles of music. And it's like, it's so refreshing and rewarding. So that's the big takeaway from this is always challenge yourself. It's a really, really fun way to keep things fresh and to keep learning. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget that the tabs are 100% free, so if you haven't downloaded them yet, sign up for basic membership. You can click that link, or you can go to the site, rockclass101.com, do a search for La Gitanita, and you can get them that way. And again, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.